I think it's safe to say over the last couple of years, the starting defense for the Minnesota Vikings hasn't performed up to snuff. I mean, don't get me wrong. What were they? Second in the NFL last year in terms of sacks. But other than that, it was rough. It was absolutely rough. I think the Vikings defense, they are not a bottom tier 25 and below type defense. And they got too much talent to be playing like they did over the last couple of seasons. And I think even guys like Mike Zimmer, the former head coach for the Minnesota Vikings, knew that. That is why I think the new look for this Vikings defense, I think it's the right way to go. We're talking about a switch from a 3-4 to from a 4-3 to a 3-4 that I think really plays into the Vikings' strengths, especially with what they have in terms of edge defenders as well as corners. Really nothing changes for corners and safeties in a 3-4 from a 4-3. It's just that linebackers and D-line, there's a lot that goes on, and there's a lot of different things that can happen, and you absolutely love to see it. So when you take a look at a lot of the different things, and specifically where the Vikings stand in a lot of different positions, I think it's going to be interesting. First team, I think it really is a toss-up who's going to start. I mean, it could be Harrison Phillips at that 5 tech. It could be Dalvin Tomlinson in there, or it could be Harrison Phillips at the nose tackle, Dalvin Tomlinson on the outside. I would probably flip those now that I think about it. Harrison Phillips down in the nose, and then Dalvin Tomlinson in that D tackle spot. And then you also talk about, Armon Watts. I think he's going to start at that other 5 tech spot. I think he's earned it, absolutely. And then I also think Jalen Twyman is going to be in that mix, as well as Patrick Jones. Like, literally every defensive line on this, or defensive lineman on this Minnesota Vikings squad is going to get time. Harrison Phillips, Dalvin Tomlinson, Armon Watts, like Patrick Jones, Jalen Twyman, Osezi Otomehu, Za'Darius Robinson. There's just going to be so many guys that get time here, because I do think the Vikings want to make sure that they are putting pressure on opposing quarterbacks. They're stopping the run, but then, baby, you've got Danielle Hunter. You've got Za'Darius Smith. Brian Asamoah, I think, could push out eventually Jordan Hicks at that other starting middle linebacker spot. So, I just think that there's just so many weapons. DJ Wanham also is going to find a way to get on the field. Louis Duvalier and also Zach McLeod, the 2 undrafted free agents. There's just so much talent defensively, especially in the defensive line, for the Minnesota Vikings. And then linebackers, too. I think Eric Kendricks and Jordan Hicks and Brian Asamoah, those guys are very good players. Also, Blake Lynch was a guy that when he got the opportunity absolutely balled out. So you talk about, then you go to corners, Patrick Peterson, the older veteran that played very well last year, Cameron Dantzler, who honestly, he was actually kind of respectable. I know a lot of people like to hate on Cameron Dantzler, and I know that he didn't necessarily get the time of day at certain points with a guy like Brashad Breeland last year with the Vikings, but I think Cameron Dantzler, coming back year 3, he's going to be a guy to watch. It can be a very special player still for this Minnesota Vikings defense. Then you got Lewis Seen there at free safety. Listen, this man's going to be over the top. He is just going to be the enforcer. I'm so excited for Lewis Seen, the former first-round pick coming up out of Georgia, the national champion. Then you got Harrison Smith. Oh, Harry the Hitman. He's one of my favorite Vikings of all time. He's coming back. Like this entire defense from top to bottom. Edge rushers is one thing. We're going to have so many weapons on that defensive line and the edge rushers, But the linebackers are respectable. You got corners for days, because after Lewis Seen, Harrison Smith, you got Cameron Bynum that probably should be that third safety on the field. But the corners, Patrick Peterson, Cameron Dantzler, Harrison Hand, who every time this man is on the field, good things tend to happen. It's frustrating as to why. I know he got COVID last year, and I think he made the switch from numbers, 38 to 20 or something last year. But overall, Harrison Hand is going to be a very special player. I feel like deserves more of an opportunity. Also, the Vikings drafted Andrew Booth Jr. in the second round of the 2022 NFL draft. Chris Boyd has shown some good things. They drafted Caleb Evans in the 4th round of the 2022 NFL draft. Just top to bottom, there's too much talent for this defense not to play up to its level. And I think it will do just that. I think it's going to start with those edge rushers, and it's going to trickle on down through the linebackers, the safeties, because if you can get pressure, I mean, Danielle Hunter and Za'Darius Smith, if both of them are healthy, man, oh man, I love it. I think this is going to be very big for the rest of this Vikings defense. And I think because of all those reasons, I think the Minnesota Vikings defense will shock the NFL just in all terms of pressure, shutting down the run, getting pressure on the quarterback, all those different things, and also pass breakups, all that. I love it. I'm excited for the Vikings defense. I think they're ready to take a huge step forward and get back to being the dominant defense that they once were. But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. Down in the description below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. Give us a like and a follow there. Also, remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about the Minnesota Vikings defense shocking the NFL.